Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I am excited today to be joined by a writer of Amish fiction. It is still for 2 more days, the month of April, and as you guys know, we did Amish in April for the, what was it, fourth year in a row. And this is Deborah Torres. She is a debut author. Her first Amish novel is coming out in May. And I didn't want to wait till May to talk to her because I finished reading her book. She sent me an ARC graciously, and I appreciate that so much. And it was fantastic. So I need to tell you guys about it. I want to talk to her, let her share a little bit about her story. And then whenever her book comes out, I will be back to give you a full review and to let you know how you can order her book. So, Deborah, hello and welcome.
Hi. Hi, Lizzie, or hi, Elizabeth.
Either one is fine. Either one is fine. So we were just in our little chat before this. I was asking her how she found me, and she said it was an interesting story. So
Yeah.
let's just start there, and then we want to go right into talking about the book, and then we want to hear a little bit more about you and what your plans are, and all of that.
Sure. Well, I guess it was interesting to me because I loved finding you that way, but I've done a lot of work on Instagram when I first started my author marketing. And just one day, I think I was on one of the hashtags for Amish life or Amish fiction on Instagram, and up popped you and your video. And I think that you were doing a review of Cindy Woodsmall's new book. You had read her arc of her latest book, The English's Daughter.
Mhm.
And I had always wanted to read that book because it was new and the cover is just beautiful on that book. And I love Cindy Woodsmall. So I think I did from there. I went over to, I think you can, with YouTube or with Instagram, you only get one link. So I went over to your link and went to your YouTube channel, and I watched the whole thing on Cindy's book and was excited to hear it. And then I was hearing about this Amish in April thing, and I was super excited about that. And so just kind of been watching you. And then whenever April pulled around this time, I was like, I wonder if Elizabeth would be interested in talking about me. I was like, but my book comes out in May. It doesn't work, you know. But then I thought, well, maybe we could figure it out. And you were
Yeah.
so gracious to do that and to read my book. And so anyway, here we are.
Well, I didn't get to it during the actual readathon, which was, for those of you who didn't participate or are just now joining in, it was April 9th through the 18th. It varies from year to year. We started out just doing it a week. This year it was 10 days. And I had said earlier, like when I was doing my whole April TBR, that I would probably read Amish books all month. And I'm still reading Amish books. I have a Amish of Sugar Creek novel going on right now on my phone, which is one of those guideposts. It's from a guidepost series. And so for me, Amish in April is really all month. And so I said to Deborah, if we can go ahead and get this done now that I finally got the book read, I would love to go ahead and do this in April because a lot of my viewers have been reading Amish books. And so while it's still on our minds, I'd like to go ahead and introduce you and your book and chat about it for a little bit. So her book is called The Forbidden Gift, and it's going to be the beginning of a series, and I'm going to pull it up here because she sent me a cover. And is this the first time this has been on the
Yes,
internet?
it is my cover reveal right now.
Okay,
I'm so
here
excited.
we go. Oh wait, that's the horrible cover reveal. Let me turn that
Let's
down.
do it again.
Yes, let's do it again. Okay, there we
Yes,
go.
there it is.
Yay.
I feel like there should be some confetti going down right behind me.
Yes, because I didn't realize what all went into a book cover. And Deborah has a YouTube channel where she does a lot of different Amish related things. Her channel is called Amish Book Reviews, and I will link that below. And she has done several Amish book reviews, but she has also done a vlog of a trip into Amish country, and that's beautiful. There's some beautiful scenery, all the farmers market and things like that. And I even noticed how someone had commented that they were concerned that that you weren't respecting them by by filming. And I thought you handled that comment so graciously, and it was a great answer. So anyway, check out that video. Also, she has done what I was leading up to say is there's 2 or 3 videos on getting what was needed for the photo shoot and then the actual doing of the photo shoot I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, and maybe it varies from publisher to publisher, but I never really thought about the author being present for the photo shoot. And does that vary according to publisher, or?
Yeah. Well, this is my first experience being published and my first publisher. So I would imagine it varies. I would imagine it's pretty hands-off in most cases for the author. But in my case, I did have the opportunity to do a photo shoot, and I had the resources. My husband works for a large Christian university, and there was some opportunity to use some facilities. So we were able to use those facilities to shoot, and they have a huge green screen. If you go to the video, which we'll maybe link to the channel below, but if you go to the video, I'm in front of this huge green screen. I mean, it's like overhead and even on the feet, you know, it's like, look at this, it's so big. But that's where we had our models. And I actually was able to shoot, my book series is 3. I have 3 books. So I was able to shoot the pictures for every one of my covers, because I figured those models, I've got them today, you know, and I've got everything today, and I don't know where they're going to be, you know, whenever my books are done. So I wanted to do all of them at once. So we had
that was brilliant.
It was a great day. And that was fun doing that video too.
So the series name is Willowbrook, Secrets of the Pen, which kind of brings us to the premise of the book, which I want to talk about first before we get too chatty and run out of time, because we have to keep this to probably another 20 minutes or less. So the premise is about a young Amish woman. Now, has she been she's already been baptized into the Amish faith,
yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So she feels like she has a gift to be a writer, and she loves to write. Her grandmother even gave her a journal when she was young, and we find out in the book that her grandmother also loved to write, so it kind of runs in the family. But the bishop has deemed it against the rules for her to write. So tell us a little bit more about, I don't want to give spoilers, that's just kind of the premise. Let me just say though, let me gush for a second, because I have read a couple of other short stories, and I kind of knew that was a thing, that in a lot of Amish orders it was frowned upon for women to write and to do a lot of things. And so I kind of thought, okay, well, you know, this is going to get to be a trope. But let me just tell you guys watching, that was just the beginning, and there was so much more. There's so many layers to this book. There is a lot going on, but as I was telling her earlier, there's a lot of things and a lot of people introduced and a lot of stuff, but I loved all the things. And I didn't even know if she was planning on making it a series before I talked to her since reading it. And I had said to her, yeah, I could totally see this being a series, because there's all these different great stories that are just introduced and dwelt on some, but could totally go off in, you know, probably more than 2 more directions. I think there's just a lot of potential, and it's a really good balance between English life and Amish life. So let me let you talk though, because they've seen me and they've heard me talk. So tell us a little bit about the book, the characters. Why should we order the book? What do we have?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, it's so funny writing a book sometimes. I tell people, sometimes as you write, your characters suddenly will do something, and you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't even expecting that, you know? Or I was telling my husband, I'm working on the sequel now, and I said, you know what? I thought they were going to fight. I thought they were going to fight about this. It was the 2 characters, the Amish woman, Johanna Yoder, and Judah Barton. The English are the journalist, and I thought they were going to fight, and I had them all set up, and as I was writing the scene, they didn't fight, they worked it out, and I was like, Judah, good job, you worked that out with her, and it was so cool. But anyway, it's a great story. One of my desires in this story, I love Amish fiction. I've been reading Amish fiction for years, but I think one of my goals, those books that really touch me, are the ones that go deep. And the ones that really talk about emotional healing and even spiritual growth. And I've read some Amish fiction that really stays so close to the surface of cozy, where it's like, that was fun, but I didn't grow, you know, or they didn't grow, you know, or there was a really hard thing that everybody just avoided, you know.
And that was one thing I noticed. I'm sorry to interrupt, but before I forget, I loved the fact that both of your main characters had issues to work with their mothers. And I don't know if that was a conscious thing or not, or if it just happened, but it's these two parallel things, and they're different issues, but I thought that was a really neat parallel to watch both of the characters and what they had to go through to come to a better relationship, or a relationship at all, in one case, with their mother. And then both had fathers which had, you know, some tragedy. So I just thought it was a great parallel.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, that sort of just happened too. Maybe it was because I could relate a lot as a mother, and so that's maybe why, because I kind of put myself in some of the mother roles along the way. But yeah, it was just an incredible opportunity to write. I like I said, if you go to my website, one of the taglines that I have on the top is real, raw, compelling Amish fiction. Because I wanted to go deep. I've read a lot of Karen Kingsbury, and I love how her tagline is life-changing fiction, I think. And it's where, you know, she takes relationships and really goes deep and, you know, hurts and healing, because I want people to grow, and for them to be able to maybe carry away some of the things that they learned to their own relationships, and maybe have some healing that happens there too. So that was a big part of it. I really, I just wanted to go deeper, and I feel like the Forbidden Gift does that. And as the story grows, like you said, there's a lot of layers, and now I'm working on the sequel, and there's some things that are going to turn around that maybe you thought were dead, and you'll see at the end of this story how that works. Yeah.
And the other thing too, she has kind of an unexpected villain, and he's got a lot of layers too. So the antagonist of the story, and I think you will find some surprises there. And I thought that was really great, how you really fleshed out his character, and I'm really excited to see where that's going to go. You know, I don't know if you're going to address him in your next book, or if that'll be in book 3 or what, but I'm really excited about that. So before we get too far, you mentioned that you had read a lot of Amish fiction. Excuse me, clear my throat. Tell me, or tell us, what you read as a kid, and then as an adult, what you read and have read, and maybe did any of that influence what you write today?
Yeah. I mean, I think it probably all did. I didn't start reading Amish fiction until I was a young, young mother. But I remember always being drawn to the Amish books. And then my family actually moved. We used to live in Virginia. We moved when we had young children. We moved to northwestern Pennsylvania. And so suddenly I wasn't immersed in Amish culture, but the Amish were suddenly around me. You know, we'd be going somewhere, and they'd be in the buggy trail. So we had this one particular grocery store, discounted groceries, that I loved to go to in Knox, Pennsylvania. And they had the buggies in the parking lot, you know, the buggy places in the parking lot. And I would just be like, I just love, you know, pulling my kids out of the minivan, putting them in the cart, and rolling past the buggies, and as they go, and being in the stores.
They like hitch the horses,
the hitching post.
That's awesome.
And then we were in the stores, and they'd be in the stores, or at Walmart, you know, shopping at Walmart with me. So that always intrigued me. And, you know, how do you really get into understanding Amish life until you either know an Amish person or live right near a community, or you start reading Amish fiction? So I think that's where right before then, I really started reading it, and just started reading a ton of Beverly Lewis and Cindy Woodsmall. I'm actually starting to venture into some of the other authors. I read all of Jolena Petersheim's books, and I loved her. Hers centered more on Mennonites, but I loved hers because she dealt with that raw stuff, that emotion stuff, that gut-wrenching, you know, let's going through life and learning from it, and growing as a person through it, and growing in God through it. So that's really, I think, as I was looking for an agent for my book, I was basically saying, if you like Jolena Petersheim's style, that's what I'm emulating. I'm going after what she did for me. So,
so
anyway.
that's one of your big influences then. Yeah, I need to write that name down. I'll come back later.
Yeah,
actually, can you tell us how to spell it? So that anyone else wants to look it up.
Sure. It's Jolena, Jolina, and Petersheim is Petersheims. Well, Petersheim, one singular. I actually have on my Amish Book Reviews YouTube channel. She is my review of her latest book is the intro video. So if you
Oh,
see that, you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll have to make sure I've seen that.
Yeah, it was fun doing that video. I was in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I was at a Airbnb, and there were like roosters behind me and Blue Ridge Mountains in front of me, and it was like such the perfect setting to review an Amish book.
That's awesome. So now, how long have you been writing? How long has this process been? Because this is your debut novel.
Yeah,
So,
it is my debut novel.
the only thing that no, there, I was just looking on Goodreads. There is someone named Deborah Torres who has some short stories, but
Not
that's
me.
not you, right? Okay.
Not me,
All right.
no,
So
no.
if guys, if you go there now today, that's not her. But
Yeah, no.
we will let you
I will.
know. Maybe she said, I think you said within the week
Within a
you're going to
week.
have it on
Yeah,
Goodreads.
I'll
Okay.
have the book up on Goodreads. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And
Yeah,
so when I do my review of my at whatever point that I find out that it's on Goodreads, I'll let you guys know so that you can add it to your TBR. Awesome. So
yeah. So how long I've been writing? Is that
yes,
what you're...
yes.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to be a writer. I can remember even in high school, when I told my guidance counselor that I wanted to be a novelist, she was like, well, let's see what other things you can steer your writing towards, you know, and that kind of crushed my dreams for a while, but I did kind of take her advice, and I went into journalism and what was public relations back then. It sort of stayed home to be a stay-at-home mom for quite a while, and then started doing some web writing and web design. So basically I've taken my desire to write and put it into web writing and learned a ton about that. So that's what I do on my day job. I am a web content specialist, but then for my creative life, I do write. And I actually started my novel long ago, an embarrassing amount of time ago. But at one point, my husband had said, you know, how much time are you putting in that novel? And I was like, well, you know, when I get to it, I get to it. And he was like, well, I challenge you to write 30 minutes a day. And I was like, okay, I could, you know, even 30 minutes, you know, that's one half hour television show or something, cut that out and do your 30 minutes. And that actually helped me to write more consistently. It actually helped me to think about my characters more, even on I usually walk during my lunch break. Even on my lunch break, I'd take out my phone and be dictating. I think this is the scene. I'd be talking into my phone what the next scene should be. Then I would email it to the transcript to myself, and then I'd kind of have it started and work with it that night. So anyway, within 2 years, I think I got it done, and then went through the whole process of looking for an agent, and then working with my agent, looking for a publisher. And so it's been a time, but it's been good. And I'm super excited just to continue. You know, someone are like, well, you've got a book, you know, and I think maybe people think that when you have one book, you're done, which maybe that is the case for some people. But I'm excited for this author debut. That's what it is for me, as an author debut. I mean, I have a book and I'm excited about it, and I'll use that, you know, to continue. But it's then the next one comes, and then the next one, and then we'll see what God has for me from there. But I'm excited to step into my author career.
Yeah, and you definitely should not stop, because it was so good. And you guys, like, I've read debut novels before, and you know, there's always the fear that, in fact, the reason we're doing this interview late in the month, and I was kind of teasing her because I had it took me a while to get around to reading it. Finally got it read, and I didn't want to schedule this interview until I had read it, because I said to her, you know, because what if I hated it, and then that would be awkward, right?
I know. Oh yes, I know.
So I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So I want to encourage you guys all to get this book and read it. Don't wait till next year, Amish in April. Get it in May. Read it now. I think you will love it. There's just so much to it. It was just such a full book, full of all these things, and like she said, it makes you grow, and the characters grow. And I think you look at them and think, well, how can I grow through this? So I thought that was great. So I want to make sure, before we run out of time, that everyone knows where to find you. Your YouTube channel is Amish Book Reviews.
Yes,
right?
Amish Book Reviews.
And then you also have a Facebook group. Or you said you started another group that's not on Facebook. So tell us where we can find you, and then we'll put all the links down below.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I am Deborah Torres Writes on Instagram and on Facebook. I think I'm Deborah Torres Book on Twitter. And I have the Amish book reviews on YouTube. I started a MeWe channel. I think it's called Amish Life, Amish Recipes, and Amish Books. I think not, that's the wrong order, but that's what it is. So you're welcome to join that as well. That's growing. And I'm at DebraTorres.com, so you can find me there as well. And also, maybe we can do in the link below, I have a cookbook filled with Amish recipes. It's an incredible cookbook. I would want it. It's 30 pages, color. It's got some, there's a fellow who used to take pictures out in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania, where my novel is set, of Amish country. And he has such great images, and he's allowed me to use them. So I put them through the cookbook. So you get some incredible pictures of Amish country and then some authentic Amish recipes. But if you get it's a free cookbook, so all you have to do is sign up for my author newsletter, and you get the cookbook delivered to your email, completely free. It's a digital cookbook PDF, and then you'll get updates on my books, find more about me and what I'm doing and how you can be involved.
Great. So that is a great way to know immediately as soon as your book is released. If we have your newsletter, then we will know. And my apologies to you for not having signed up for that yet. I've been seeing it. I've been watching your YouTube videos, and I think, okay, I got to sit down and get. And I've got to
I'll send you the link.
Okay, yes, that would be great. Send me the link, and can we put the link for it in the description of this video as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so send me all the links, and we will make sure that is in this video. So, okay, I think we covered everything on my list. If we didn't, my apologies. I'll put it in the description below. May 20th is the target date. It may vary, but that's the target date for the release. And I'll show you the cover one more time. And it is The Forbidden Gift by Deborah Torres, book 1 in the Willowbrook Secrets of the Pen series. And I am super excited. I hope you guys are too. I hope you will read the book. And Deborah, thank you so much for joining me. This is the lunch hour for both of us as we're filming, although this won't get uploaded till later today. And thank you so much for watching, all of you out there. Be sure to comment below, and be sure and subscribe to Deborah's YouTube channel and find her on all the things. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Deborah. I hope you guys are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.